Now, this protest, organized by Patriot Prayer, it's happening near Pioneer Courthouse Square to demand Mayor Wheeler have police crack down on protesters who they say are breaking the law. Our Jennifer Dowling is there now. She joins us live with the details. Jennifer?
Good afternoon. We're at the corner of Southwest Morrison and Broadway. That's where the Patriot Prayer Group says they're going to meet at around 6 o'clock tonight. And the other groups that typically come out to oppose Patriot Prayer, they're very aware of this march too, saying that neo-Nazis and the Southern Poverty Law Center have called them hate groups. This is a handmade PSA stuck here, so they're aware that Patriot Prayer is coming out. The Patriot Prayer announced on their Facebook page that they believe that the mayor is making the city unsafe with his policies. And the leader of Patriot Prayer, Joey Gibson, who hails from Vancouver, he typically organizes these marches. He's coming out in response to last weekend's protest, as Trevor said, in downtown Portland over a black man that was shot by police. Now, Patriot Prayer was not actually at that protest, but video has since showed that protesters were confronting a car that nearly hit, and that car nearly hit a member of the group while they were on the march. During that incident, the driver's window was smashed. Police were observing nearby, but they did not intervene during that confrontation. Now, this was the mayor's response to the video and the police response just yesterday.
This is the story of Goldilocks and the two bears. The porridge is either too hot or it's too cold. At any given moment in this city, the police are being criticized for being heavy-handed and intervening too quickly, or they're being criticized for being standoffish and not intervening quickly enough. They'll look at this, and if there's something more to be learned from this, I'm sure that they will implement it.
Patriot Prayer is not happy with that response. They posted on Facebook under this event description tonight that Wheeler, quote, stands by while criminals block intersections and assault innocent bystanders who drive by. Now, those who were invited to tonight's march were also invited to bring glow sticks and flashlights. So that indicates that they're going to be out later into the evening. Back to you, Trevor.
Jennifer, thank you. And we've seen these situations can be very volatile. We will.
It started with members of Patriot Prayer gathering outside Nordstrom at Southwest Morrison and Broadway, billed as a flash march for law and order. It comes a week after a protest over the death of Patrick Kimmins, who was shot and killed by police. People gathered at a memorial near Southwest 4th and Harvey Milk. The protest got out of hand when a driver tried to go through the intersection that was blocked by protesters. Today, Patriot Prayer marched to the memorial site, where they were not welcomed.
I don't really know each side of it, but from what I can see, it's just a lot of two sides going at it and nothing's happening.
They continued to march through downtown. At one point, the sidewalk was blocked, apparently by members of Antifa. Someone used some kind of a chemical on Patriot Prayer, and fights broke out.
I don't know what else to do. I mean, we got to expose that. We have to be able to have a right to march on these sidewalks.
Portland police warned people to stay off the streets and for opposing sides to stay away from each other. The march continued back to where it started. Joey Gibson of Patriot Prayer said he felt police did their job.
Police did a good job. They stepped in when the time was right. And so, you know, I appreciate that. They did their job tonight. We just need to make sure it happens every single time.
Now, we just heard from Portland police a short time ago. They say that there were not any weapons that were confiscated, although they did see weapons on some of the people at the march. We have no word on any arrests yet. They did say that they used some less lethal munitions to break up the fighting and prevent further violence.
Bullshit! Protesters clashed tonight in downtown Portland, forcing police in riot gear to jump into action.
And they go after cars who refuse to obey them. They don't own the streets.
Pepper spray, flag burning, and physical confrontations. Protesters and anti-protesters clashing in downtown Portland over the actions and inactions taken by Portland police. It's 11 o'clock. I'm Trevor Ault. Tonight, Patriot Prayer held this rally demanding Mayor Ted Wheeler be replaced. And as we've seen so many times before, members of Antifa and others showed up to counter-protest. Our Jennifer Dowling followed the protesters all evening. Jennifer, what did you see?
Well, Trevor, I did see some people who were bleeding following a big fight on Southwest Washington Street. And police report that at least 4 people were injured. Things really got heated when Patriot Prayer started marching and police couldn't keep the two groups separated. It was a chaotic scene at times in downtown Portland. Patriot Prayer and those who opposed them clashed outside local businesses. Our photographer Shane Egan got hit by some pepper spray. Before it came to that, Patriot Prayer gathered near Pioneer Courthouse Square with a banner calling for the replacement of Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler.
The mayor's decision to have the police stand down while these protesters block the streets, they try to direct traffic, and they go after cars who refuse to obey them. They don't own the streets.
Joey Gibson said video of a driver tangling with protesters last week prompted him to come to Portland. In that video, people were in the streets marching for Patrick Kimmins, a man shot and killed by police. However, when a driver came through, nearly hitting them, a confrontation ensued and someone broke his window.
Because even my 4-year-old son can do a better job than Ted Wheeler.
I'm down here because I find it disheartening that our law enforcement would back off.
Because we've seen members of the Patriot Prayer group fighting with Antifa before, I asked why they wanted the mayor to crack down on protesters that get violent. Would you support them arresting everyone, even Patriot Prayer folks, if they were all fighting in the street, which I've seen before?
There's self-defense. Every single incident that has happened here in Portland has, on a Patriot Prayer side, has been self-defense.
No, not happening, dude. I got flowers for
Patriot Prayer eventually marched to Patrick Kimmins' memorial at 4th and Harvey Milk, but supporters of the Kimmins family and members of Antifa wouldn't let them onto the corner. Instead, both sides argued with one another, one man running across the street to grab a burning flag. We asked those who came out to counter Patriot Prayer what they thought of this rally.
I think it speaks for itself. I have no idea why they're here.
Julie Paust watched as Gibson's group walked over with flowers to the Kimmins Memorial.
You are not wanted here. The family told you to leave.
Why would anybody be interested in having them come over? I mean, what's their point? I don't get it.
She says it's unclear why they're calling for the replacement of Wheeler.
But they're from Vancouver. They can't call for anything. It's like me calling for the replacement of their governor or mayor. What?
The march wrapped. Yeah, that march wrapped up later in the evening without further incident. The mayor did hold a press conference and address last week's protest. He said that police often receive criticism from both sides of an issue, and if there's something more to be learned from last week's incident, they'll implement it.